are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date, what's today's date, Jeremy? Today is the 16th, I think? 17th. Wednesday, 17th of September. So we haven't been on the air for a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. Just so everybody know, this is a medical, political. We do everything. We do medical, but we do have commentation. We do comment on things that are
going around
with medicine.
Yeah.
We have Jeremy here. Jeremy, you want to say hello to everyone? Let me put the camera over.
You know me. I'm your old pal Jeremy, right?
Yeah. Jeremy, can you lift my camera up just a little bit?
Sure.
I'm going to get it there. So, really good. And Jeremy, can you tell them where they could get a hold of us? Show them some of our where we're on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a number of places, but you can go on to Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. .com.
Jeremy, you're still squinting. You're bad. You can't see.
I know. I'm just.
We're gonna have to make that screen bigger. All right, just hit that there. That's good. Hit that.
Just nothing coming up.
All right.
Oh, here it is. Wait.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Just leave that
That's
there.
there. Yeah, I get you.
You're good. So anyway,
Right.
if you could do that, thank you, Jeremy. And there's a
Yeah.
we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Rumble. Can you
Right.
check that, Jeremy? Make sure we're going out to everybody. Yeah, there we go. And so
I gotcha.
yeah, Jeremy's going to check right now. Not that one, Jeremy.
No, obviously not that one, Mike.
That right there. No.
Oh, I get you. Here.
There you go. Just check. So
It's been a minute. That's what I'm
and,
saying.
yeah.
It's been
So
a minute.
Jeremy's new. Hasn't been doing a show with me for a while.
Yeah.
So okay, no more technical issues. All right, Jeremy. So we're live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. And then we hit up the podcast. So you get us wherever you want to go. We're all over. If you look for us, you'll find us. So today, our topic is going to keep this short because it's the first one. We haven't done one in a long time.
Yeah.
I've had multiple shoulder surgeries, and I've been busy with the summer.
Summer's your busy season.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so we have had a little bit of a off. So I want to just go about a little bit of politics today. Not so much politics, but everything's going on. I don't think
So
you
much is
could.
going on,
I don't think we could sit here and talk about medicine and
With
about
what?
sed rates and antibiotics and infections,
Yeah.
what's going on. So I'm going to show you a picture, a photo. It's a black and white photo. Now, I have books here that back in the day, people would take black and white photos that were amazing. You know, you ever see those pictures? I mean, the one that's amazing is where they're lifting the flag on Iwo Jima. You know, I mean,
Right.
There are certain pictures that are just amazing.
Yeah.
And what does they say? A picture speaks 1,000 words.
Right.
So I want you to check out this. Let me just make this a little bit bigger here, and I want you to go to my iPad. So it says copy iPad up
Yeah,
there
I
for me.
gotcha.
Can you see that? Yeah. So I'm going to just get this out of the way
Oh
here.
yeah.
So look at this picture here, and I want to try to just bring it down a little bit here. And this is comments over here. People, comment. But look at this picture here, and
That poor girl.
so now, if you look at this, so people who are on the podcast, this is a picture of Charlie Kirk, and this is the Ukrainian girl who got killed on the bus.
Yeah.
So what it is, it's a photo of her with her hands in her eyes,
Covering her face.
and then
'Cause
Charlie.
in that moment, she realized she was going to die.
I don't know what
That's
she
it.
realized, but
No. She first looked at her killer who stabbed her.
right.
And then
Right.
she covered her mouth because she realized she was going to die, and she did.
Well, and then you have Charlie Kirk here, who
With his arms around her,
obviously was assassinating, his arms around her. So you could look at this.
comforting her.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are going on here.
You know what, though? He's comforting her like no one else did on that train.
Yeah,
Right there in that picture.
Yeah. Let's not focus on them. I want to focus
Go
on.
ahead,
Yeah,
go
don't
ahead.
focus on them. Don't focus on. what I want to just show about this picture, because there's so many things. You have somebody who's older and somebody who's younger. You have somebody who cared for the young. He did care about the young in this country. He was killed talking to college-age students. He tried to, have a debate with them. He's a Christian. He's anti-abortion. He's for closed borders. His core values are I think, represent probably 80% of the population. Yeah, when we talk about people talk about, oh, you're a Christian, so you're against abortion or you're for abortion. That's not true. I want to make that point because I see a lot of the remarks here. I have friends, people I know, people I've read, people I've seen in the internet, people who are not Christians and are against abortion. Abortion is about whether or not you think you're killing a life. And in New Jersey, you could have an abortion up to 8 months. So up to birth. So in New Jersey, just so you know, you could have an abortion anytime. You could be a 12-year-old girl who's pregnant. You could be 8 months pregnant. The girl could be healthy. The fetus could be healthy. You follow me so far? Yeah. And you could go to a late-term abortion clinic in New Jersey. You don't need parental consent, and they'll do the abortion. And the state of New Jersey may pay for it. Yeah. Now, if you don't believe me, go look on the internet and go look at these late-term abortions and see what criteria. There is no criteria. There's absolutely no criteria in New Jersey to have an abortion, or not to have an abortion, or to have an abortion. The interesting thing too is that the late-term abortion clinics, which we have basically we're the second most late-term abortion clinics in the United States. First is D.C., Washington D.C., and then it's New Jersey. And in New Jersey, the late-term abortion clinics are not required to register how many abortions they perform. Why is that? So anyway, my point is, though, a lot of people say that because he's Christian, he's against abortion. Not every Christian. I have friends who are Christian, and they're not against abortion. Actually, they want it limited.
Yeah. It's a personal choice.
The other thing. You
got to see that. You got to see what you can live with. What suits your belief with your immediate family. Right. And that's what it is. It has. I don't think it has much to do with religion unless you bring it there. Yeah. Do you know how to put us in a small box? I don't know if you know how to do that. You probably don't mess around then. Yeah. Right. So the other thing that's going on here with this picture, which is very, is that you have him who is consoling her, which is what his job was, and what he did a lot of. So that's another thing. And then the other thing is, she's innocent. Was on a train. Yeah. So she's here. Here's an immigrant who came to this country legally. Yeah, she fled her country in 2020. Okay, to get away from violence.
Go back to me. Yeah, go back
to get away from violence, only to be killed by it. Right. Here, where she thought she would be safe.
So the irony there's so many things here. So the irony there is that she came here. She's young. She came here legally, and then she gets killed. She gets killed by a sick psycho. Now here's again, it's a black kid. We can't take a race out of this. But he's definitely mentally ill. Yeah. And is he responsible for his actions? Here's the thing, though. Forget about him. Maybe he's a sick pup, and maybe he's just mentally ill, and he's really not responsible for his actions. But there was a judge on the other side of this who let him out, or the system let him out. 16 times, 14 times?
Yeah.
Now they're not mentally ill. No. There are a judge who.
Well, Mike, this is what happens when you close all of the mental institutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But
you've got these guys, and they are sleeper cells, really.
Well, it's not. But it's not even that. It's a judge could have locked him up. Judge could have committed him to a facility. So the biggest problem here is that you have a judge who is letting this guy out. Now I don't know if it had to do with her race. Because he's black, she's black, but again, the why did that happen? So so when you look at this here, she gets killed by somebody who is mentally ill, but is criminally ill, is criminally insane or criminally insane or
known to be.
Right. So where's the judges? Does the judge have any responsibility? Yeah. So that's that there. And again, she's an immigrant. So they got the racial thing. Somebody said that when he was leaving the train, he said something about I got a white bitch or something. It doesn't matter what he said, what he did. It doesn't matter what he did, but it's the point there is that a judge let these people, and this is not the first time this happened. There was just an accident up the street here, last week. It was a Hispanic man, couldn't even speak English, with a bracelet on his knee, ankle, for whatever he got locked up for, driving his car, and he goes past the center. He I don't know what he went over the center median, and hit a car head on, killed 2 ladies, killed 2 women. Just last week, not even a half a mile up the road here.
Long Branch, where the boardwalk is?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Last night there were shootings.
Yeah.
And it's all blocked off now. If you want to walk the boardwalk, you can't.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for evidence.
Right.
And
But
stuff.
but here's the thing: this guy was an illegal. But I'm told he is. They didn't put it in the newspaper.
Right.
So here's another thing: he should not be in this country. If he wasn't in this country, and the judges, this is a sanctuary state. So 2 people are dead. Now that's not the first time in New Jersey. This is going on, and a lot of these illegals, I don't know what they do. They drink. They don't know how to drive a car. They don't see the signs. But they killed 2 people. 2 people. All right. So now you have. So that's what's going on there. Now let's go look at Charlie Kirk, and you look at him. So what's going on here? So he was shot in by a high-powered rifle. And I used to hunt with those rifles. That thing is made to kill.
Yeah.
By allegedly this guy who has is there transgender, is there leftist.
Supposedly, what's been discovered since is that he has a transgendered boyfriend,
right?
Who he spoke to about it prior,
right?
To that he has an opportunity. And he's thinking about taking it. Then after the fact, he says, "Yeah, it was me." But he was He didn't seem right with the parents either, and that's how he got turned in. But there's other things to play, I think.
Right. So, but let's look at the bigger picture here. Then, so So Charlie Kirk was killed for what reason? So let's just throw this out here because you're looking at here. So he was anti-abortion. Okay. So maybe it was that. He's Christian, and so a lot of people believe that Christians, if you believe in Jesus Christ, you're not sympathetic to the transgender population, which is bullshit.
I think it's bullshit. Yeah.
But I've been approached by people in social gatherings when they see my cross, or they think I'm Catholic, or they all of a sudden assume that I'm anti or I'm against them, or they tell me I'm taking their rights away from them, or I'm trying to hurt them. Which is nothing, nowhere close. I think if you go back 2 years and look at some of our podcasts, we talked about transgender surgery. I think over 18, you want to have your surgery done. Wait, let me finish. If you want over 18, you want to have your surgery done, fine. Where I draw the line is in children. I don't think children should be, operated on, cut up, because a lot of people, after 21 years of age, a lot of people don't think they have gender dysphoria anymore. Right. And a lot of these people are really gay. They're homosexual. They're not they're not transgender per se. They don't have gender dysphoria. They might be trying to deal with their
gender dysphoria isn't a new thing. I mean, that's things that have been happening to people since the dawn of time. Puberty is what was created to course correct us at some point. So we're okay. I mean, as a kid, you're going to dress up as a princess, and you're going to fight, dragons and stuff. Right. But then you get, so if there's any confusion, puberty sets you straight.
Right. So my point is that I didn't listen to Charlie Kirk every time. I don't know what his position on with transgender. I mean, maybe he thinks they're sick, and there's no, but I've seen people who have transitioned, when they were 25, 30. Mm-hmm. And doing well. I know people. I would. But here's the thing. I don't think. Hold that thought. But I don't think that. So that's another reason. Let me finish my whole thing. Mm-hmm. Why he got what is the reasons? Somebody could have killed him? Why this individual? So you have that. He's not for open borders, closed borders. So I could have seen a cartel taking him out. Mm-hmm. All right. And then the other thing that is really very important here not to forget is that President Trump probably would not be the president of the United States if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk and him getting the young vote.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that is very powerful. Now, follow me. I'm not a conspiracy, all of this, but to me, out of all of those things, if we used to call him the man, the swamp, the guy, the person who owns the color blue,
Gotcha.
those people, those people, whatever they are, the ones who, the puppets,
And they had a lot of troops too. Like the women on The View always peddling that same line.
But what I'm saying is though,
brainwashing their side.
Why was he killed? What was the, always look for the money. He was a very dangerous man in the regard. He's very dangerous to the left.
He was a possible future president.
Right. So,
of the United States. Right. He may have been president one day.
Right. So he was a very dangerous man in that regard.
Yeah.
A very dangerous man to the, hyper left, to the communists,
right,
to the Democratic Socialist / Communist Party in this country.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that they knocked him off. I don't know. I'm going to let the legal system take care, and who knows if we're ever going to have the answer. We still don't know who killed Kennedy. We know who it was. Suppose he pulled the trigger, but even that, there's people still arguing it was a setup with the CIA and all of that. Yeah. So my point being is that, this was.
I thought that was clear. That it was somebody in the CIA. It was their fault, or the FBI.
I don't think anything.
One of them did it.
I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But my point is, I'm not sure we know for sure. But my point is, so this picture here, you could look at this. Let's go back to it, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And then tell me how much time we've been going for. About how long? About 16 minutes. So this picture here speaks 1,000 words. You could talk about immigration. You could talk about. We didn't even go into. She's Ukrainian.
And that had nothing to do with her murder, though.
No, but I'm just saying is, that's another whole issue that's festering in this country.
Oh, yeah.
So now, again, people should look at this picture. Now, go back to us again. Now, I want you to tell me now, for your perspective, you're the man on the street.
Okay.
And when you look at this picture, and you talked to me, you spoke to me about it a little bit before, about what it meant to you. And what how people are coming together and not coming together. So I want you to talk about the good side of again his family, and I think that there is a silver lining to both of these deaths. So tell me what you think the silver lining is to both of these people's death, and how it may in the future be a better life, and not because they're gone. They're gone. It's a tragedy.
In saying that, we're not saying that. It was good that they died. Because all this good came from it. No.
But what good can come out of it?
What good has come out of it so far, and we're still looking and we're still seeing.
And what good should come out of it?
I mean, there's a lot of people that because of Charlie Kirk, whether you were familiar with him or not, this was a young 31-year-old man who believed in God, he believed in Jesus, and he believed in open discourse. Okay? Yeah, he believed
I got to see you, Jeremy. I can't see you.
I'm sorry. He believed in open discourse between people. Like, you didn't have to agree with him, and he wasn't going to crucify you for your beliefs. He just wanted you to know, like, what his take was and what your take was. Okay, thank you. And that was it. But that was too much for a lot of people. And one person in particular. So in that picture, you asked me, what do I think of it? I think that was a girl that was taken out of her youth prematurely. I think the picture signifies that they both were, and they are helping each other in the afterlife. He was comforting her in that picture. And this is an AI picture.
Right, I want you to story. It's an AI. Yeah. I don't want people to think it's a real picture. Right.
But people are also like some of the pluses that I've discovered.
Right. Tell me
people who have never gone to church before are going up on social media. They're dressing up in a brand new suit they bought or what have you. And they're saying, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to church because, I don't know Charlie Kirk, but after what I've just heard, I feel like I need to start going to church more, right? I think people in this country, and certainly the world, are tired of this left-right tug of war, because the left has been tugging very hard over the last several years. And you know what? they lost. 90% said the other side, it gets its turn now. And so we're seeing candlelight vigils, not just in our country. We're seeing people celebrating Charlie Kirk's life in Germany, in Paris, in London, in Korea, all over. And that to me signifies what the American dream truly is that one man can make a difference. You can go out there, you can speak your truths, okay? Because these are the freedoms that you're given as a sovereign citizen. But you can speak those truths with decency, and people will learn from you. People will get educated by it and change themselves. So many people already have been going back to church and finding new roots for themselves where there were none before. And all of this is because this one man died.
Yeah.
And was murdered in front of children, in front of a stadium of people. I think we're tired now. I think we're sick of it all. I think that the giant elastic band that's been stretching over the last several years has finally reached its breaking point, and now it's snapping back.
What's going to happen, though? What's the good stuff?
I think people are going to be tired. I think more people are going to leave the Democratic Party, whether they become independents or they go over to the right completely. It, is yet to be seen. I know many have already, but I think they're tired and they're sick of it. Even the journalists, the fake news people, they're tired of getting a script. They didn't become journalists so somebody can hand them a script that they read verbatim. Okay, they became journalists because they wanted to tell a story with their point of view, and they haven't had that in so long. They don't even know what being a journalist is anymore. I mean, we've got teachers teaching that had been teaching children about sexuality when they were way too young to do so, telling them that it's okay to pretend you're a different sex, but they wouldn't say pretend. Yeah. You can be a boy and you can be a girl.
All right. Yeah. No.
But let me just finish my thought. And so yeah, I think a lot of these people who, after Charlie's death, some of these bad people were celebrating it, and they've lost their lives. Now they've discovered there's a consequence.
Well, they didn't lose their lives; they got fired or something.
Sorry, not their lives. Their
livelihood.
Their livelihood. Yeah.
Well, maybe
so
temporarily.
Now they're starting to discover that there's consequences for that kind of nastiness. People want to be decent again. I hope so. Anyway, that's my hope.
So go back to the photograph. Well, I'll go back to me. So here's the thing, and I think so here's the good things that I think may happen. First of all, Charlie Kirk is a martyr. He was assassinated. Yeah. I think this is gonna unfortunately that video of him getting shots can be played over and played over and played over, just like John F. Kennedy. I think it's gonna there's gonna be memorials for him, and I think that when it's all said and done, people are what's the word I want to use? The bare minimum, the bottom line, is that he was assassinated because he was exercising his right of free speech.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And everything else, you could, his politics. I mean, but he was exercising. He had a thought. He had a position, and people did not like his position. So maybe that a lot of people around the world, and this is his First Amendment right, or our First Amendment right, or the ability to speak and be safe. Well, and let me hang on. But also, Jeremy, at a high school, this was a college. Yeah. It's people get shot in church, people get shot in college. I mean, this is where you should be safe. So but the good thing about that is people now are reflecting on what free speech is, what is, they had this whole thing about disinformation and hate speech. Hate speech, you could be hateful, but hate speech. There are, and if you look at the Constitution, First Amendment, speech is modified time, place, and manner.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't like the mayor of Tom's River and you want to protest, you can't go to his house 3 o'clock in the morning outside of his bedroom window and bang a pot and make noise.
That's what I was going to bring up to you. Yeah.
But the thing is, so what did we learn anything? What could be good about this?
Well,
maybe the good thing is that number one is maybe people will start to understand that free speech is important, and if you don't like what somebody has to say, you can't shut them down. You can't shoot them. You can't throw stuff at them. You can't be violent. And speech is not violence. I mean, you could incite violence with speech, but inherently speech is not violent.
So, with the freedom of speech, I think that what was sidestepped. See, a lot of people think this freedom of speech is a blanket thing, so you can say anything you want, as horrible as it is, and because it's your freedom of speech, you're allowed to do it. But the thing is if you think that way, then you've just sidestepped decency and decorum, okay? Which is what we take from our fundamental foundations of what's right and wrong, what's good and evil. You have to balance that off of your conscience, off of the type of person you are.
Right.
And if you start coming out spewing vitriol on everyone, now we're starting to see people, these people that have lost their jobs because of it, or they've lost all their friends, they go back online and they're crying. They're crying. How could this happen to me? This is so nasty. And they're so obtuse that they don't even see their end of it and what made this all happen to begin with.
Right. So with free speech, and I think you make a good point, you can't legislate. You can't. The people who want to lose their jobs, there's consequences, but I don't think you can't stop them from. I believe that they should be able to say, if they want to go on the internet, they want to go in the public square and say Charlie Kirk was this or that, bad things. They have the right to do that.
Right.
But they also then, I as the boss, or me as a owner of a ballpark, I could tell them, no, I don't want you in here. I have rights too.
You're a representative of my business,
right.
And
that ain't gonna apply. Just like a good example, YouTube. When Barack Obama when Biden was president, and we wanted to talk about Corona, YouTube shut us down. How many times did we get shut down? Now,
what you can and can't say.
They say, it's community standards. Well, okay, I accepted it. I was pissed, and I think they went overboard. But you know what? Then we went to other mediums. We went to Rumble. We went somewhere else. But they had the right, and I agree with the right. YouTube had the right. If they, want to be leftist, they want to shut me down, and we're proven to be wrong now because the stuff that we were talking about was actually accurate. So my point is that, these people, let them lose their jobs, but you cannot stop them from saying these things. That's free speech. All right. So the good thing about it is we have a discussion, and I think that, people are going to understand this. We
can't stop them from saying these things, but we can let them know that sometimes
it's not right.
There's consequences for what you say and do.
Right. Just like burning the American flag. I know Trump wanted to make it illegal, but the Supreme Court, I think, voted on it twice, maybe 3 times, that burning the flag is free speech. American flag.
Wasn't that illegal at one point?
It might have been. I don't know.
I thought so. Like I grew up in the 80s, and I grew up, like you weren't supposed to talk about BOMBs and the president in the same sentence.
Right.
I was always led to believe that was against the law, or they're going to come and get you and stuff. You won't. But that led to a lot of I understand my limits, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
but now for the longest time, these people are off the chain. There's no leash that's stopping them.
Well, they are now.
There is a leash
after
Charlie Kirk.
Right.
And they're getting their consequences met.
Right. But you can't. Yeah. Right. So you can't. The American flag. My point is that the American flag, you should be able to burn it if you want to protest. I don't think it should be, because it's the First Amendment right. And the Supreme Court, which is they decided, and you got to go with law. This is the other thing. We have a republic. We have a constitutional republic, and we have it set up with 3 branches of government. And so the the referee is the Supreme Court. And okay, so no burning. You could burn the flag, but that doesn't mean you can't be criticized. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
if you work for me and I own McDonald's, I'm going to fire your ass.
You're going to burn a flag,
Then you're not going to work for
but
me.
be aware.
You're not going to be my friend. You're not going to be.
A whole lot of people aren't going to like that.
Right. And now I think what happened with Charlie Kirk, that's acceptable now. I could fire you. I could criticize you. I could say, yeah, that's your free speech, and you could burn it as much as you want. But you know what? You're not coming to my house for dinner.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's one good thing that's there. I'll make another good thing here, about with what's going on here is that a lot of people now didn't know Charlie Kirk and his core values.
Yeah.
My wife didn't. Now she does.
Yeah.
And when she finds out about his core values, she's like, oh my God, what a great message.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing. Now I'm gonna tell you, I watched some of his clips, and so I was watching one of his debates. So a girl comes up and she's anti-Second Amendment. She wants all guns taken away. So she goes, there's 30,000 people a year getting killed with firearms, 30,000 in the United States per year. So Charlie Kirk goes, okay, about 60% of that is suicide. So out of 30,000, 60%, over half is suicide, and mostly with handguns. Then there's about another, so 60, 70, 80, about another 30% or so is black on black, inner city, gangs.
Yeah.
And that is, that should be stopped. I mean, that's been going on, and Trump's working on it now. How many of those young black kids could have been president of the United States? No, I'm serious about that.
Right.
I'm have a mixed race family, so that's a tragedy. We let that happen in the United States.
Yeah.
And then you have other, school shootings, cops, all that. But so she goes, well, I want to get rid of all the guns. So Charlie Kirk says, well, how are you going to do that? There's maybe 300 million, 400 million, 500 million guns, and there's probably explosives and everything else.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get rid of them? So then she says, well, we can't get rid of them. I mean, she says, then, well, we have to have laws. What kind of laws? You're going to confiscate them? How many people are going to die doing that? Or the only way to get rid of all the guns is change the Second Amendment. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you what my idea is, but then he goes like this. So she's kind of like dumbfounded. He goes, well, let me ask you this. There's 55,000 people die a year in car accidents. 55,000. Right. Should we get rid of cars? She didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
So then he said this. This is where people take his words and throw them around. He's saying cars are a necessary evil. We need them to get around, So the same thing with Second Amendment. It's a necessary evil, or it's a right. And you could say how many people, over 1 million people a year supposedly protect themselves from other people with guns. So he was making a point. And this is the kind of things he discussed with people. Now, I don't think that's controversial. I mean, it's a good point. You think about it. Yes, a lot of people die with cars. Are they different? Yeah, it's cars, but still people are getting killed. So the idea is we live in a very dangerous world. We live in a very sinful world. I would say this to you, and if I was talking to that girl, I'd say, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Let's get rid of all guns, everybody. Just follow me on this one. Mm-hmm. Let's just, because I'm going to make this point. Let's get rid of all guns. You can't have a gun. I can't have a gun. Cops can't have a gun. Military can't have a gun. Nobody could have a gun. Nobody. What would tell me, Jeremy? Just think about that. Right now in the whole world, we took away all the guns. Now I just want to ask you this before you answer that question. Before guns were invented, there was no murders.
No, there were murders. Yeah.
Okay, so if I take all the guns away from everybody, what will happen? Tell me the scenario.
You want to think that taking away all the guns maybe would then there would be less, but I think taking away the guns, it wouldn't matter. I mean, you can 3D print a plastic gun and it'll
forget
still
about
work.
a gun.
It'll still work.
I mean, you can make a stick. You could still hit somebody over the head with a stick. I could kill you just as fast with a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, the Indians, American Indians, the Apaches, they called the red. They had these red sticks, and they bop you over the head. They crack your head one shot. They were good at it. They say it could kill a person one second. My point is that getting back to what Charlie Kirk said, and I really agree with this. This is another one, that we're all sinners. We're we have we can be very, very bad. We can be very, very good.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of things. So anyway, getting back to my main premise. So people now are people are now again.
I just want to send the
Show me what
question
time- how much
back
time
to
we-
you a little bit.
All right, we're almost done. So go ahead.
I want to send it back to you a little bit. Okay, so a person who came into our country illegally from the South, okay,
South America.
you know, come in through the Texas
Right.
border,
The
right?
border. The border.
And he is in his own country, a vetted criminal,
Right.
a rapist, a murderer.
Locked up. Have been convicted.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And we let him in
We did,
without
right.
any vetting
We
or
did.
anything like that.
Biden administration did that. Mayorkas
Okay.
did that. Yes.
So he ends up raping and murdering a girl,
yes.
okay? And he's caught.
Yes.
Who's to blame?
Well, number one, him for sure.
Well, sure. But is there anybody else?
Well, yeah, because the system, and
See?
yeah.
Their direct actions killed somebody's daughter
Right.
in the most horrific way.
Right.
But where's the accountability?
Right.
Because
Well-
that's bottom line. Even with the question you asked me, that's what it all falls down to: is accountability. Who is to blame for either killing people or not?
Right.
You know,
So it's not the gun then.
it's not the gun; it's the person.
It's not the car. Well, it is the car, but
Guns
it's not the car.
guns don't kill people. People kill people, right?
People, and people drive in the cars. If you, my car will sit in the garage here or the driveway. It'll kill nobody, unless I get, And that's the thing, and that's why, and I think that, so people are going now to Charlie Kirk. They're looking at the Christianity. They're looking at how a good person, and so now they're going to also focus on this other thing in this country, which is unfortunately is the transgender. What's I want to say? Gender dysphoria. This whole thing. Now, they're. I don't know how violent they are. I
What
don't
do you
know.
consider a transgender?
Well, I think it's. I shouldn't use that word. To me, from a doctor's standpoint, there's gender dysphoria. That's how I understand it. And there's gender affirming treatment, which I'm not totally against. Don't get me wrong. I go back on our webpage. I think there is.
Now, the gender affirming treatment, is that to tell people, no, you're a man?
No,
Or what?
no, because I've seen studies where I think it's far and few between, but back in the 60s and stuff, back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, maybe 80s, let me just think, 80s, 60 Minutes did a show on a doctor in Colorado. He did about 100 gender affirming treatment procedures. They're done it all around the world.
Yeah.
Iran and Iraq do them. Muslim countries. So it is something.
Well,
let me
see,
just
you answered
there
my
is a
question
problem
in
there.
that.
There is an entity.
Saying that means that they have to have been, there had to have been that sexual procedure to change their sex.
Yeah.
But there
Didn't change their
for
sex.
so
It changed
many
their body. It didn't change
Yeah,
their sex.
so many people out there call themselves transgender, but they've never changed their sexual organs. They still remain the same.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't. That's to me. That doesn't. That's not the. It's not. Doesn't
But
pertain.
these are the very same. Yeah, it does pertain. Because
why?
these are the very same people that are using guns and shooting people. They're shooting up crowds. That's what's happening right now
Well,
in our country.
right? Because but I understand that. But getting back to you asked me about the initial question about gender affirming treatment. I know people over the years have had it done and they're very happy and they feel better.
Oh, yeah.
So my point about with Charlie Kirk is I don't know. He might have been a hard stop. Like I'm not about no abortion at all. I think abortion, the first trimester is a reasonable compromise. But after that, 8 months, 6 months, and people say, "Oh, there's not many of them going on." Well, I don't know that, and but why have it the law then? So what I'm saying is that with the one of the things that is going to come to light now is again focusing on two things with gender affirming treatment. Anybody under 18, they need parental consent. Should they have parental consent or not? In my opinion, they absolutely should. And I don't think anybody should be having surgery done. The science I look at should not be done under 18, maybe even under 21. After that, if you want to have it done, and then the next question is, should my taxpayer money pay for it? That's another argument. Should my taxpayer money pay for abortion? Okay? State of New Jersey, if you're a 12-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl, and you're pregnant and you have want an abortion, you go on welfare, they'll pay for it. My taxpayer money pays for it. So there's so many layers of what could go. And
Right.
United Healthcare right now, United
That's an
Healthcare.
interesting point,
United-
because if you forced the people who were getting the abortions
To pay for it.
would there be more situations, or would they use prophylactics or whatever birth control stuff?
Well, the argument is then
more often.
Right. The argument then is the only people who get abortions are rich, and the poor people don't get it. So then you got that whole argument, which is a genuine argument. I mean, the poor people then can't afford it. I don't know. Everybody I see, got cell phones. Even the homeless
if there's
people.
birth control, but if there's birth control in like any pharmacy or whatever, why aren't they using it?
Yeah, but people get pregnant on birth control too, Jeremy. They do.
Okay, you're looking at a smaller subgroup then.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people can't take it. That's an argument, but it's really not a good one. You got to talk in absolutes. And here's the thing. I'm just saying about Charlie Kirk and people looking at him, and what it's going to bring out is now this discussion of where, when, how gender affirming treatment needs to be dealt with, and especially that it sounds like the person who shot him has gender dysphoria. And so that's going to light up that whole thing. And that could be good or bad. I remember when when I was in college, I had a bunch of Iranian friends. They were in school with me. They were from Iran. They were here on student visas. And when the hostages were taken, remember, they took hostages, 120, 150 hostages. Iranians took American hostages. They were embassy people. They had them for, over a year. My friends got the shit beat out of them every day. I mean, they were getting beat up on the college campus, So because of what happened in Iran to our hostages, a lot of people, I think, I hope not, are going to look at gender, people who have gender dysphoria, and look at them in a different kind of light. Instead of saying, well, they maybe have an illness, they have some kind of problem. Now they may look at them, see they're evil, they're bad, they're dangerous. Even
saying gender dysphoria to somebody who is an adult, I think that gender dysphoria happens before puberty. Puberty course corrects, but if you still continue, then hey, that's down to your personal nature. Or
so when you say course corrects, I don't understand. So you're saying there, I don't get your whole thing there.
Well, I mean, you're like we're created by something, a higher being, what have you. Okay,
right.
And
but see, if people don't believe that, then you lost them already in the discussion.
Yeah, well, hey, fine, then they can switch it off. But but my point is that the human
just lost half our audience because they're not.
The human body is such a miracle,
right,
to begin with, and the fact that there's something like puberty that actually brings out the type of sex you are more. Like
right.
For men, they're hormones and estrogen for women. That all of that is supposed to level out your sexuality, and what you're going to be. So, but I just think that the people who have dysphoria are younger. They're before their puberty came in. If you continue on beyond that, okay, that's down to a personal preference or a lifestyle that you want to continue.
No, I don't think so.
I
think there's something. So let me ask you this. Well, I don't want to get. I'm just going to play because we have a little time. What about gay people? What's their problem? Are they normal?
I don't think there's anything wrong with gay people. I don't.
So
I've marched for gay rights.
I know. So,
I think
what's different?
That a lot of the transgenders and pretty much all of the pluses,
right,
ruin gay for gay people. Right. I do. They march their marches. They fought for their rights.
Right.
And gay people have an end game, which is families. A lot of transgender people don't have that. They don't have that end game decision. Like heterosexuals, we have an end game. We want to settle and be fruitful and multiply, Mike.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So back in my day and back way before me, gay people were considered disease, sick.
Yeah, I came from the 80s.
Wacky,
I understand.
right.
I was born in the 70s.
They killed them. I think still Muslim countries may throw them off roofs
even
and
today.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so
which is crazy because there's a lot there's a lot of transgender people, and these are people that don't ever plan to have an operation. They just color their hair different. But they think that in these countries, that these countries should be free and they should fight for them, but they would never be allowed to be in them.
So let me tell you my point, and then we're going to close the show.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to all this gay, gender, dysphoria, I think that people are born, and they have different brain activity, different. Maybe there's some chemical imbalance, whatever. But they're born like that. Okay, they're born maybe they're born homosexual. They're born with gender dysphoria. Maybe puberty helps, maybe it doesn't. But I say, you know, in this country, in the United States, with with our Constitution, when you turn 18, 21, when you're an adult, somewhere along the line, and your parents are not, you know, have the responsibility of you, you can do what you want. You know, I mean, I don't want you to kill yourself, but if you want to, you know, jump off the roof and kill yourself, you want to, you know, be a bum and go, you know, live somewhere and do nothing, or you know, you're gay and you want to find out lifestyle, or you have gender dysphoria, you want to have
personal preference,
right?
Yeah.
Only thing that I discussed, and I haven't really, you know, I didn't with Charlie Kirk, but is the biggest thing I could say is that the children, you know, having these children operated on and giving them puberty blockers and doing surgery on them, especially when
that's the thing, those puberty blockers,
right? Especially when there's a big industry.
Because we were talking about puberty and how it course corrects. The puberty blockers are trying to block that natural phase in development.
Right. Yeah. But my point is that I think that maybe this is going to bring the discussion back up to the table, and I think that. You know, anybody over 18, I have no problems if they want to have the surgery. They want to do that stuff. That's how I look at it. You know, I think Charlie Kirk maybe would disagree with me, but again, you know, he brought this up. This was they were talking about it. So and this is what gender dysphoria violence. That's what I'm getting at, because the moment he got shot, just before that, somebody was asking a question about mass. Gender dysphoria individuals with mass shootings, and then he got shot. Yeah. So that's going to...
Words are not weapons, guns are.
No, but my point is that this discussion is going to be, you know, expanded upon and looked at. And don't think that that's not going to happen.
No, my personal beliefs, and this is interesting, okay? My personal beliefs is if you're calling yourself transgender and you feel in all your heart and your soul that you were born in the wrong body, okay? And you go and you make preparations to get your, you're going through gender reassignment surgeries, then, you know, hey, that's a level of respect that can only be attained with a snip of a scissor, okay? So, yeah, if you went the whole route, you have nothing but my respect. Look at Caitlyn Jenner. She did what she needed to do, and she's living. Does anybody point her out as some sort of freak anymore? No, she's socially acceptable.
So your point is that your theory of the case here is that.
But if all you're going to do is use transgenderism as some sort of ploy to be able to make TikToks and annoy people,
okay. So you don't think these people
off.
Are really? You don't think these people are really gender dysphoria?
I think the ones that have no plan, unless you know,
no skin
and
in
it
the
goes
game.
down to the individuals, though, doesn't it? It goes down to the individuals.
I don't know about that. But anyway, listen, let's sign off. Charlie Kirk, we want to, you know, I believe he's in heaven. I believe he was a good man.
Yes, I do.
I believe
I agree
that.
too.
I'm sad. It's very sad. You know, and like people are like calling for this guy to get shot. And, you know, listen, he should be tried. If he's convicted, you know, give him the death penalty. You know, just give him a needle, get him out of here, and we'll never know, you know, about him ever again. I don't want to hear his name. As far as the, you know, any accomplices, they need to find that out. This poor girl here, that, you know, they need to go after the judge. The judge should be sanctioned, not fired. I mean, maybe fired, but you know, why is she doing this stuff? She shouldn't be a judge.
She shouldn't be a judge.
You know, I mean, she shouldn't be a judge. She could be a lawyer. She could be something else. But obviously, she's not doing her job. And she made a big mistake. Yep. And, you know, I mean, if she was an airline pilot and you crashed a plane 2-3 times, maybe, you shouldn't be a pilot anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I say there. So anyway, Jeremy, how about you get everybody
Yeah.
know? Let me start this here.
For
Everybody
more-
know where we're at. Yes.
Right. For more information about Dr. Kachmar and Michael Kachmar and all the wonderful things we sometimes talk about on the show, you can go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. Somebody's
Hit
changed
that one.
these.
Just hit that right there.
Yeah.
No, go up one more. Yeah, that way. Go up one right there. Hit that one. So here's a phone number to call, Jeremy. Tell them what it is.
It's 732-269-1133.
That's good enough,
yeah.
Jeremy. That's
So,
good enough. So listen, give us.
Follow and like our show. You'll get notifications for when we do go live.
don't do anything, yeah.
And we would love that.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. And make sure to follow us on all the platforms. We're on also, by the way, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you want to listen to us, you can. Bye.
Bye-bye.